Back again? We must stop meeting like this. I recently dug out a bit of kit from the back of my cupboard that I haven't used for quite some time, and I thought you might be interested in seeing my workflow with the Korg ES-1. It also gave me a chance to show off my absolutely incredible multi-instrumental talents, because funnily enough, this and my Yamaha SU200 are the only samplers that I have that I can actually sample with, and they're both the two oldest samplers that I own. The samples, the tracks and the MPC 101 can all play back samples with various degrees of editing capability, but none of them have native onboard sampling facilities of their own. So the first step was to record a kind of a background loop that everything could hang off of, and I had a dubby little beat on the MPC 101 which I sampled up to provide a backbone for the track. I set the record parameter to mono because not only does this use up less memory, and on old bits of kit you often find that memory is in short supply, but the way that the ES-1 is designed, tracks 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 are paired together into a single track when you're using stereo samples. I also figured that as this track acted more or less as the bass line, it would fit in the middle of the mix, and that would be perfectly adequate to do that with mono. Once I had sampled this up, I needed to check the start and end points to see if it would loop round smoothly. So I created a 2-bar pattern and set the sample off playing at the beginning of the first bar. And then I tweaked the BPM until the whole thing looped round smoothly. Next, I cracked open a load of real instruments and indulged myself with a fantasy that I might actually be able to make music properly. Of course, once these had all been sampled up, I needed to clip off the dead air at the beginning and the end. The editing facilities on the ES-1 are quite simple. There's a start, and a finish. And then a fade to give you a bit of a fade out so that you can make the loops work a little bit more smoothly. But all of that editing is destructive, so you have to be sure that what you have done is exactly what you want to keep before you press the right button. The most interesting thing about the ES-1 is the playback controls, and although they're limited, you can get some really quite interesting and nice spacey sounds from it. I pitched the dig down slightly and washed it with onboard effects, so the loop point was slightly more difficult to spot. And it gave it that drone sound that a classic didgeridoo has. If only I could do the circular breathing. The ocarina I pitched down quite dramatically, and I ended up with a kind of spooky, almost human voice melody that I could use. Although those two worked really well, I had a bit of difficulty with the hand pan. When I first put it in, it wasn't quite what I wanted. I didn't really know where I was going. And then I pressed the reverse button, and that gave it a strange kind of psychedelic edge which suited it and suited the track I was working on. Pads 6A and B and 7A and B are grouped together into choke groups. So when B sounds, A is cut off. I quite often use choke groups for beats. So on pad 6A, I put the thud that I made when I had the drumstick against the furniture. And on 6B, I put the click of drumsticks being knocked together. On 7A and B, I used the same sample, that of the shaker, but I pitched them slightly differently. So there was a variation between both sounds. And then I created a simple 8th beat pattern. And that was the bare bones done. Next, I just had some fun playing them back. Dropping parts in and out. And messing around with the effects and a bit of the filter from time to time, and just enjoying myself, seeing what I could find in that little 2-bar groove. You can hear the finished results here. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and in the words of the Sirius Cybernetics Corporation, share and enjoy. Bye kids, bye.